Myself, I am Dr. K. Prasad, Assistant Professor of Physics, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I am going to deal research methodology and nanomaterials in series lectures. Within this, in research methodology and nanomaterials, I am going to discuss about impact factor, H index and I10 index. So, here, what is meant by impact factor? What are the major things are involved in the impact factor? Detailed manner we will discuss in further slides. And also, where the author indexing point of view, H index and I10 index influences more, and how to calculate, where this H index is going to calculate. These all the things in detailed manner we will discuss in further slides. So first, I want to start with impact factor. So before going the impact factor, where the history of impact factor it is started, just we need to revise whole the thing. So impact factor, first it is created in the earlys of 1960. Why it is created in 1960s? Why impact factor is important? Because to select any journals for science citation index, developed to compare the journals regardless of whatever the size, means either it is a publishing 300 articles or 1000 or 10,000 articles publications they are publishing, but what is the citation? Based on that, the impact factor will influence. So general impact factor is nothing but we are representing with IF. Article impact factor, size and breadth of scientific field determines super cited papers. Means suppose any general impact factor, how it will be able to calculate? Means general impact factor is influenced by what? Article impact factor. Means one particular article, suppose some X person is published for 10 papers. Within that, one article, it is cited, means suppose Journal of Alloys and Compound Journal, one paper it is published, that article is cited, suppose it is a 300 citations it is having. Means that article, particular 2 years, how many citations that journal is having, that influence the article. So article impact factor is able to calculate, based on this only we are able to calculate the journal impact factor of total journal point of view. Some particular article, just now I told some X person is having the citations of 300, another person is having the citations of only 2, or another Y person is having only 2 citations. Some Z person is having for 10, some W person is having for nothing. So whatever the parameters, but overall that particular things, just we will discuss in later slides. Delays in reviewing and publication also affects the impact factor. So what is meant by impact factor? What is the definition of impact factor? So journals with a high impact factor publish articles that are cited more often than journals with lower impact factor. Means what he want to convey here? Journals with high impact factor publish articles that are cited more. Means many number of papers, whatever the high impact factor journals is having the citations more, comparatively low impact factor journals citations. So if citation, how we can understand this? if citation numbers are taken as measure of quality, then these journals are high ranking by this measure. So if citations are number is high, then measures this journal quality is good. Then these journals are high ranking by this measure. So what are the impact factor point of view? Key determinants means the key determinants are not the number of authors or articles in the field, but the citation density and age of the literature cited, the average number of citation per articles, and immediacy of citation are the significant elements. The size of a field will generally increase the number of super cited papers. This is nothing but the definition of impact factor. This is the who invented this impact factor? Eric Agent Garfield is invented the impact factor. So what is an impact factor? Means the number of current citations of a journal receives a divided by the number of articles published in the past 2 years. Suppose now we are going to calculate the impact factor. When which year? 2024. We are going to calculate. Suppose the journal Nature publication or suppose ACS Energy Materials. Just we are taking that particular journal is having for this particular means the number of citations of a journals receives divided by the means how many citations are received for how many articles. So this journal is published for, suppose you assume as it is published for 900 articles. This 900 article is having the citation around 5000 citation, that is divided by means this number of journals for how many years? 2 years. That is nothing but we are going to calculate 2024 for the impact factor of ACS Energy Materials is nothing but we are going to calculate the number of publications published in that particular journal for 2022-2023. This particular 2 years means preceding 2 years is nothing but now we are standing in 2024. Preceding 2 years is nothing but 2022-2023. These two particular years is divided by the number of articles. How many articles are published in these two particular years divided means the number of citations for each year and 2 years combinedly we are keeping. Suppose the number of citations in 2022 and 2023 is example just we are taking around 6000 citations are there for how many number of articles. Suppose now just I am assuming 9000 citations, 9000 citations, 9000 citation divided by how many number of articles are published. Suppose it is published only for 500, assume. So what is the impact factor? So the impact factor of ACS Energy material means the number of articles published in 2022 and 2023 is total citations how many? 9000 for 2 years divided by how many articles are published. Suppose here you assume 2022, it is published how many articles? It is published for 300 articles. In 2023, it is published only 200 articles. So total 9,000 citations divided by 500 articles. Total how many? 300 plus 200 is equal to 500 citation. So based on this way, 9,000, based on this way, we are going to calculate the impact factor. Now, citation density, we are going to, what is the citation half-life? Means how long articles in a journal continue to be cited after publication. Means how many years, even suppose now you are published the article in 2019. So how long articles in a journal continue to be cited after a publication? Means 2019 it is published, half-life. Half-life also it is making citations consideration. So based on means 2019 it is published, but preceding 2 years it is having for only for 9,000 citation. But earlier this journal is having for what is the citation, that half-life also we are going to consideration for calculating the impact factor. So what is the citation density? Means citation density is nothing but it means the number of reference cited per article. Means citation density is nothing but now you are going to publish one article. That article while going publishing at the time, there you are using for some particular references. That references is nothing but citation of that particular. Now you are publishing in Ceramic International Journal. You are communicated one paper. It is accepted. So within that journal, it is having for how many references in your article you are kept it. Means suppose you assume it is you are kept it for references for 60. So 60 citations means 60 references, that corresponding journal point of view, that citation for that particular article, it will be cited. So that one means the number of references cited per each article of that journal, and varies by discipline, lower in maths, then life sciences, higher in review article. Means a citation where we will get more, means in which disciplines we will get low, means maths and life sciences we will get very less citation. Which particular articles we will get high citations, means review articles for any field we will get for more citation. So citation density depends upon the which particular stream you are publishing. That one also it will give the impact factor of the journal. So it doesn't mean that impact factor is high is there. You should not correlate for all disciplines for same. Life sciences will differ, maths, biological sciences will differ, and material science people will differ, ceramic people will differ. Likewise, EEE electric engineering departments will differ. So based on which particular area, that corresponding point of view, citation and journal, it will influence. So based on that, it is we need to think. So suppose the impact factor is high is there, then only, but that particular journal is having the good reputation, you can publish in good reputation journals. Even it is having less impact factor because that journal is having in that particular field point of view, that is the most influenced journal, it means. And within impact factor, another term is the off-life, means the number of retrospective years required to find the 50% of cited reference, means these we are calling as a off-life. So calculating impact factor, just now I have shown you earlier in slides. Just it is a calculation how we are doing, means the number of citations in the current year for a journal, means just we are assuming these as a 2024, we are calculating the citations of that particular journal. Suppose you are taking as a ceramic international journal, it is a material science journal, ceramic international journal. In 2024 we are calculating the impact factor. Here divided by means current year, how many citations in the current year for a journal, how many citations are there in a current year, means this particular year it is having the citation. Suppose you are having the citation 3000 citations in that particular year 2024, and the number of items published in the journal for the last 2 years. Last 2 years means what? It means it is published in 2022 and 2023 preceding years. Last 2 preceding years point of view, how many articles are published in this particular journal. Suppose you are taking here 2022, it is published 150 article, and 2023 it is published for another 150 article, just you assume. So 300 total 2022 and 2023, it is combinedly it is having for 300 articles divided by, means how many citations in 2024? 3000. So this 2 are get cancelled. 3 by 10. So ceramic international is having for impact factor 10. These based on just whatever the values we have taken, means the number of citations in the year of 2024, how many? 3000. And preceding last 2 years, how many articles are published? Means preceding to last 2 years means nothing but 2022, 2023. It is published 150, 150 respectively in the 2 corresponding years. Totally, it is published 300 articles. 300 articles divided, 3000 citations divided by 300 journal articles are published is nothing but we are getting the impact factor how much? 10. This is the way to calculate the impact factor of any journal. People are giving the impact factor based on this. So what are the impact factor, where it influences impact factor? Review articles cited more often, case reports rarely cited, rapid publication times are greater, citation impact factor will be high, and self citations are greater, and bias towards rapidly evolving fields is having the impact factor, and sites not counted after 2 years is the negative impact. Specialty journals have less impact factor. Where it influence means impact factor, these are the particular places. Review articles will be more cited, case reports are rarely cited, Rapid publication times are having the impact factor high. Self citations are having, journals are having the more impact factor. And different fields point of view also bias is there. Due to that, the impact factor will be higher or lower. It depends upon which field we are taking. And sites are counted only for 2 years is the some drawback. Specialty journals having means special issue journals have the less impact factor. So impact factor, scientific journals scores greater than clinical ones, means material science, life sciences, like this particular emerging field like inorganic and batteries field, material science related, whatever the field you are taking, this scientific journals having the impact factor more than the clinical journals. And US journals score more than European journals impact factor. And review articles score more than original articles published. And methodological papers may score more citation, means having more impact factor than those with new data. And free electronic accesses journals having more impact factor than the impact greater impact factor of the journals. And how are impact factors are used to judge the publication quality, and it is a prestigious journal. And due to this impact factor, we can assess academic productivity of that particular journal, and authors choosing where to publish. Also, it is having the impact factor is influences, and evaluate an author or journal editor where the impact factor is useful. And it is also useful decisions for tenure and promotion point of view, also impact factor will be useful by libraries to make a collection of decisions which impact factor journals we need to take. These all are the influences for the impact factor. So nursing journals impact factor means helping for impact factor point of view. What are the nursing journals facts means? Journal citation reports. The source of impact factor rates 33 journal nursing journals. Means nursing journals means PubMed indexed journals where it is a medical field journal. So mostly 248 referred nursing journals, and CINAHL indexes 548 active nursing journals. ISI regards librarians as their primary customers. ISI standards greater than of nursing journals by 23 in 2006. And where the impact factor determining the journal quality, nursing is limited compared to the journals rated 33. General nursing journals, not specialty. Nursing journals having the impact factor less than 2. Impact factor does not measure impact of specific articles. Not every article in a high impact journal is of high quality. Only few articles might be having for high quality. Remaining, it doesn't mean that whoever publishing in that particular journal, all the articles are high quality. So you can consider as that journal impact factor influences more 70 to 30 like that ratio. So more quality articles will be there in that particular journal, some 70 to 70 ratio, and 30 for medium quality articles also will be available in high impact journals. So self citations. So people will get confused. Either we should increase the self citations or not. encouraged by some editors and journals for self-citations because you are published in that journal, that article, and also it is more appropriate reference for whatever the current work you are published. So even it is a self-citation, but it is more relevant for whatever the research done article. So that way we can give the citation for self-citations when it is appropriate. If it is that article is more relevant to whatever the current work scenario, and some particular places it is giving the clarity over current article. So that places, even it is your publications also, you can give self-citation. Not subtracted when impact factor is calculated is the issue for impact factor, because many people are publishing for high impact factor journals at the time, or any article while publishing at the time. This impact factor, how they are calculating, they are not making separate the self citation separately, so they are not subtracting. So by default that impact factor will be high. But I told you already, if it is more relevant article, current work point of view, it is suitable. Even self-citations are encouraged, but where it is, while calculating impact factor, self-citations are not subtracting, and authors also accumulate many self-citations. So people are making misuse. Due to that, this self-citation is giving for meaningless. ISA claims it has a little effect on relative rank of high-ranked journals. Journals with impact factor less than 0.5 have high self-citation rates. So issues with the JCR database, it is a prestigious quality, is a murky concept. Recent articles, not enough time to be cited. Citations not evenly distributed among articles in a issue. Journal impact factor, not article impact factor. Pure clinicians read clinical articles but not write or cite. This is the issue for clinical journals point of view. So we will, what are the major impact factor limitations? Means impact factor limitation. One is it reflects the journal rather than an article. Vary with the time in numbers and a ranking. Changes in clinical interest affects impact factor. Not related to the peer review process. Can be manipulated by authors or editors. 2 years period is arbitrary, not empirically based. Journal availability affects the ranking. Author citation errors are the major impact factor limitations. And further limitation we are going to see in this particular slide. Journal impact factor involve large population of articles and citations. Authors also produce smaller number of articles. 80 by 20 rule, that is 20% of the articles account for 80% of the citations. So this is a major drawback for self-citations. Impact factor can vary from journal issue to issue, and impact factor vary from year to year. Lack of empiric studies on impact factor as a measure of quality. Impact factor alternatives. No other formal evaluation to professional recommendations, referred journals, editors' reputations, editorial standards, experience and stature of editor and board, and impact factor where you can trust means some paid journals are there. You should try to avoid mostly for paid journals. When it is good to, if you are having funding, you encourage for open access journals, because open access are paid journals when it is used even in government organizations, wherever the recruitment is happening, they are not encouraging for what kind of publications, means paid journals they are not considering for recruitment. So what is the point you are publishing for paid journals? So due to that, instead of that, you prefer for good impact factor with free journals or open access. Some special issues also they will give for fee waiver, or you are having the more influenced for in your field, they will give concession for some particular journals. Freely they will publish in their journals. So these are the major thing. And standard publishers will make good impact factor journals. So you can think about standard public publishers, that it will give more impact for your journals. Impact factor also will increase in future years. So like ACS, RSC publication, elsewhere, and Wiley publications, Springer journals, like these standard journals, if you are going nature publication, you will get for high impact factor. In future year also, that impact factor mostly in increasing manner only will be there. In drastic changes, only it will reduce the impact factor, but not much variation in the impact factor. So now impact factor is finished. Now I am going to discuss about, so impact factor alternatives. Just I want to wind up another few points. Time from acceptance to publication means you are published the article. So how much duration it is taking for acceptance, means you are communicated the article in particular journal, and after within one month, if it is giving for first response of that article, is good journals. If it is more than 2 to 3 months they are making in desk, afterwards they are rejecting, or minor or major revisions if they are giving, means well and good. But we need to think before selection of impact factor. Many people are doing mistake here. Impact factor journals I want to publish. That is first. Second thing is, but whatever the impact factor point of view, you are, whatever the article you want to communicate, that is having the quality of that particular journal standards or not. First we need to cross check. Within that journals, your relevant article is available. That article standards, your article is able to reach. Then you try to reframe that particular journal standards point of view. You reframe the article and you make it for proper manner, and you try to communicate in that particular journal. Then only acceptance rate will be higher than rejection rates of that particular journal. And the best quality of journals are most competitive in acceptance for publication. Next term, we are going to discuss about what is meant by H index. H index is a short for the Heritage index, is nothing also we are calling as a Heritage index, is the H index we are calling, which was introduced by George E. Heritage, means his name itself he was kept as a H index, means H is nothing but Hirish. When it is invented for H index in 2005 as a way to quantify the productivity impact of an individual author. So H index where it is useful, who are using, means H index is the author impact, means journal's case point of view by it is having for high impact factor means it is good journal, low impact factor means so people will think low quality journals. So likewise, this particular author is having for good H index is nothing but he is having for highly influenced in his field for based on this H index. So first we will try to understand what is meant by H index, how to measure. These are all the things we will see. Similarly, means H index also similar to impact factor is now to be used instead of journal as for author in the to their scientific field. The H index has become another measure of relative impact of scientific publication, while the impact factor is derived from a coefficient of total citations and total papers in a 2-year span. The H index is simply a count of a largest number of papers from a journal or author that have at least H number of citations. So what is the H index? I propose the H index is defined as the number of papers with a citation number equal to or greater than H. Means how we can calculate this H index I will show in later slides. H index as a useful index to characterize the scientific output of a researcher. The H index taken into account majorly two things: the researcher productivity, the number of publication a researcher has produced is the first fact, and second one is the impact of that researcher publication. Means what it means, how many citation the researcher publication have received is nothing. These are the two factors it will decide the author indexing. H index will influence. So how we will calculate for H index means left hand. So x-axis we are having the number of papers, means x-axis represent papers, y-axis represent the citation. So the number of papers in x-axis, so first H papers and here more than H citations is we are able to calculate the H index. So this one we will see in internet, just we will see for what are the how to calculate the H index. Just I'm taking my author indexing. So here IARE we can able to see for Scopus ID and Web of Science ID, and other one is Google Scholar ID. So here we can able to see in Scopus indexing also it is having for how much H index it is showing. H index is 15 for how many articles? 42 articles. How many citation? 769 citation. While in the case of Web of Science, means Scopus who are maintaining, Scopus is maintained by elsewhere. While in the case of Clarito analysis, Web of Science is maintained by Taylor and Francis. So Here, how much H index it is showing? 13, 466 citation. So same author in case of Scopus indexing means any particular article is having for Scopus and Web of Science, and Science Citation Index is having for both Web of Science as well as Scopus. Some particular articles doesn't have Web of Science. Then due to that, here out of 43 publication, only 30 publications are Web of Science indexed. Means nothing but Web of Science indexed journals only 30. While in the case of Scopus indexed journals, how many? 42. So due to that, H index of Scopus indexing is 15, while in the case of H index of Web of Science is 13. It is comparatively less because consideration of articles is only 30. Here you can able to see clearly H index how to calculate. So here Hari Prasad is having the publication. How many articles he is having? Total means 42 articles he has published. Within this 42 publication, H index is meaning is nothing but 16. It is showing the H index means these one means highest citation means I have kept it for highest citation articles to lowest citations. So out of 42 articles, highest citation, which one? First article is having the highest citation 149, second article 147, likewise it is showing. So within this up to here, this is the 16th publication which is having for citations 16 or greater than that, but after 16th article 17th article also having citation, but this 17th articles citations are less than 17th article, so due to that it is not showing the indexing. Before that, how many citations are there? 17 citations. But which are, how many articles? 16 articles is having for more than 16 or equal citation. That one we are considering as a H index is 16. Means how we need to understand this? Means suppose article 1, just you can imagine. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Up to 15, how many? Minimum 18 are greater than. Afterwards 16 is having for 17 citation. But it is greater than 16 articles point of view, citations are 17. 17 citations are there, but we cannot indexing as a H index 17 because the 16th article is having for citation 16 or greater than 16. So that is why H index is 10. H index is 10. While in the case of I-10 index, how we will calculate means each article is having for means out of 42. How many articles is having for minimum 10 or greater than citations is 23. So due to that I-10 index we are measuring as a 23. While in the case of H index is 16. This is the way we will calculate the H index to and I-10 index we are calculating. That's all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.